The rules change, don't they, during an election campaign, and we simply don't have the time to waste or worry about waiting for an inquiry. This is why Rishi Sunak was such a fool when it came to the gambling commission scandal, and he should have acted more decisively immediately. This is why Sir Keir Starmer was right when a similar gambling crisis occurred in his party. And the problem is that people who wear the rosette and who parade in the name of the party during an election campaign are inviting the public directly to place their trust in the party and in the candidates. And so when somebody is wearing the rosette and is proven to be untrustworthy or inappropriate, then I'm afraid the candidate needs to take responsibility, or the party needs to take responsibility and needs to take the hit. They need to act decisively, and it's not just enough to make a rhetorical flourish and say, oh, that person is no longer going to be asked to campaign for me. And this is the problem which the SNP faces at the moment, with an SNP activist and former presenter of the online conference during COVID set to be sentenced for embezzling funds that she took from her mother because she'd been given power of attorney. And this is markedly different because it coincides with an election campaign. It's markedly different from, for example, the issue with Natalie McGarry. These issues they have similarity, but their timing impacts the national election campaign. And it's no good just being a cheeky chappie. It's no good running around the place like Max Miller and pretending that you're not responsible. The cheeky chappie was a beloved character. In fact, Max Miller was not the first cheeky chappie. There were many cheeky chappies throughout music hall history. Max Miller was probably the last. And Nigel Farage wants to be a resurrected version of the best bits of that, but that includes the superficiality. And you have to look at the inconsistencies in Farage's character, his persona, the contrast between his man about town, his gadfly, cheeky chappy image, and the serious issues that he puts forward through his party, the tough policies and the soft persona, the media savvy insouciance, the louche manner, in contrast to the relatability, the charisma, in contrast to the nasty policies. And it's important, I think, to recognise that when somebody like Andrew Parker makes a statement, and I don't know whether it was Andrew Parker himself who made this statement or whether another one of the racist campaigners makes a statement about the Prime Minister, a racial slur, the leader of the party and the person who the candidate for whom Andrew Parker is campaigning must take responsibility for the actions and for the words said by those people representing Farage. Such behaviour is unacceptable, and Sunak highlights the importance of maintaining integrity and accountability in the election campaign. And Farage's response is simply to distance himself from that. It's not enough. Particularly following Farage's quite firm comments about Sunak's early departure from D-Day, insinuating that Sunak's immigrant heritage disconnects him from British values. Farage must take responsibility for the statement, for the slur. And I think the honourable thing for him to do would be to withdraw from the election at this particular point. Farage cannot control his troops, or he cannot control himself. One or the other. And he has to be seen to act decisively at this particular moment, and simply distancing himself is not enough. And Sunak has, of course, made it clear that there are no deals with Farage. Why would you deal with somebody who commands a group of followers who sneer at you? Why would you deal with such people who embrace racist rhetoric, who think that's the way to gain votes, who thinks that's what puts their foot in the door? Sunak has reiterated his commitment to distancing his party from any extremist elements, and I think after July the 4th, if Sunak survives, he should distance himself from the Tufton Street part of his party, because that is not the part of the party that should survive as the Conservative Party. That is the part of the party which needs to be enveloped and subsumed into the Reform Party, so that we know where everybody stands. The racist party is the Reform Party. The xenophobic party is the Reform Party. The anti-migrant party is the Reform Party. Let's just be very clear about it. And the Reform Party is the one that you don't vote for. And it doesn't matter what happens, in a way, on July the 4th, as long as one recognises and maintains the moral strength of character to identify the things which are beyond the pale, the things which have crossed a red line, like racism and thuggery. And the comments which were exposed last night in the Channel 4 documentary are comments of racists and thugs and Reform UK supporters. They go together. And I'm sorry if this challenges the integrity and the fundamental honesty of many Reform UK supporters who follow my channel. As long as Nigel Farage fails to do more than make rhetorical flourishes about Andrew Parker not being welcome on the campaign trail again, I'm afraid that's the conclusion we have to draw, isn't it? That reform and racism go together. Farage will have to work extremely hard to establish and make clear a clear division between the two. And I don't think, given his history, that he's and given his character and his immediate instincts and indeed the advice, he can do much more than make some babble about, it's just a joke, or, well, he's just an actor, or, well, he's not going to work for me anymore. It's not enough, is it? It's not enough. Because the suspicion of racism was there way back in the in 2015, and it's still there. And it's still there, and it's been evidenced in the Channel 4 documentary. So the buck stops with Farage, and and we just wait for the answers. We wait for a response which is acceptable. But at the moment, I think Farage himself should step down, unless he's got a better way of demonstrating his distance, and a better way of disciplining his wayward troops. I don't know. I don't know what the solution is for him. If I knew what the solution was, I would tell him, but I don't. And I think he's been tolerating the shit swilling around the bottom of the pail for too long.